Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I am here to give you my review of Black Widow. Oh my goodness. Black Widow, a movie that was supposed to have come out a while ago. Almost a year and a half ago now. Black Widow was supposed to come out so long ago. It was supposed to be the first movie to kick off the MCU. It's probably the first MCU thing we saw. And it was going to be that and then Falcon and Winter Soldier, then WandaVision, then Loki. But got pushed back, just like every other movie, big movie, got pushed back. You know, it's the movie, it's the movie that had the biggest uphill battle. Now, in terms of box office, it's an established character. People know who it is. People know who she is. Scarlett Johansson's a superstar. You know, she's a big Hollywood star. She's been in the MCU for quite a while. Like I said, people know this character. It's Marvel. So the money's gonna be there. Hell, I just heard just the other day, the opening night, which is the Thursday night, money and domestically was about $13 million. The movie's already made. Hasn't even come out this is just like on Thursday night and, around the world. It's already made about $40 million. Like, it ain't even hasn't even been the weekend. It's not even rolled out everywhere yet. So the movie's on track to do pretty freaking well. So the money, you already knew it was going to make money. I never had a doubt in my mind this movie's going to make money. I think this movie's going to end up, because of the pandemic, it kind of makes it a little weird. So I think this movie's going to end up making like $600, maybe $700 million. Either way, it'll make its money back and it'll make a small profit. And probably not as big of a profit if not for the pandemic. But it's still gonna make some change. So this movie, a lot of people people are very divided in terms of mindset for this movie. There are people who are already made up their mind about this movie, because there are people who either A, they're not that interested in the Black Widow character, or B, they're like, I wanted it when I wanted it. Now I don't want it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I wanted it when I wanted it. Which was right after the first Iron Man, or right after Winter Soldier, or right after Civil War, where this movie actually takes place. So it's like some people have the too little too late. Like, some people feel like it's too little too late. Other people feel like, that this movie, it should have just came out so long ago that it's gotten pushed back so far. Because the Eternals and Shang-Chi have the advantage of Marvel never started marketing those movies. They never started marketing those movies. We didn't get anything on them. So, when they started marketing the Eternals and Shang-Chi and the movies, that are coming later, it's not gonna feel like it's so late in the game, because they just started marketing these films. So you've heard about these films for years, but you haven't actually seen anything on them until they started showing it recently. So Black Widow feels like a movie that's already come out. So there's a lot of things going against this movie. I saw the early reviews. I saw some of the people's thoughts on it. Mostly positive. Still mostly positive. The movie's got like 82% on Rotten Tomatoes and a high 93, 94% audience score. So it's it's still positive. Like regardless of what some people might be putting out there, the movie's still positive. Put it this way: people were fucking just in their pants when Zack Snyder got a movie above a 70. That's what the low end is. Okay, so a movie above an 80, anything above an 80 is a good movie. As long as you're like in the 77 or above tier, you're at least a good movie, in my opinion. And now that I done said all that, what do I think about Black Widow? It is solidly in the upper middle tier of the MCU. It's not, I'm gonna just get this out of the way. It ain't Winter Soldier. It's not some of the big ones. It's not Winter Soldier. It's not Ragnarok. It's not Black Panther. But what it is it's right in that vein with Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. That's exactly what this movie is. Because I dug the fuck out of Ant-Man. I dug the fuck out of Doctor Strange. But even one of the enjoyment I have, me and Steph talk about those movies all the time. Even the enjoyment I have, the stuff I glimpsed out of it, I don't think those movies I don't put those movies in the same category with the Avengers, with Thor Ragnarok, with Black Panther, with the original Guardians, and Winter Soldier, and Civil War. I don't put those in the same category with those. There are movies that I do feel like, because it's weird. Marvel's like front loaded, and then it's like got this weird middle thing going. But this movie is right there. Like, even off the bat, I can even give you my grade for this movie. It's an 8 to an 8.5. It's not a 9. It's not a 10. It's not in that category. But what this is solid storytelling. It's a solid storytelling, solid world building with or should I say world filling. It's because it does what prequels are supposed to do, which is add context to everything you know. I'm not gonna like. I'm debating whether or not to make this a spoiler conversation. But since the movie just came out, and I really don't want to spoil anything, I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of it. But it's probably the darkest of the MCU movies, just because of the subject matter. Minor spoilers. When one of the big subjects that you're dealing with is the kidnapping of little girls around the world, which is, you know, we all hear stories. If you look, you don't gotta really look too far in the news to hear about stories about, you know, child, you know, trafficking, you know, child trafficking, especially, you know, women getting kidnapped and made and sold, you know, like that's a thing that's actively happening in the world, and it's something that's happening all the time. So Black Widow does that thing that superhero movies are like. That's why I like superhero movies in general. Black Widow did it properly. The idea of taking this concept that's a real thing, that's a real problem, that's a real heavy thing, boosting it up, because instead of the girls being kidnapped and, you know, made to sex workers, they're kidnapped and turned into killing machines, which might be even worse if we're being honest, especially when you find out what's going on. Action is top notch. The fight choreography, it's a bit hard, dude. Like their fight scene with Yelena and Natasha, like it was pretty hard. Like it's pretty brutal. Like it's pretty, like you feel like some people got hurt. Doug Yelena, really love fucking Red Guardian. Red Guardian is great. It's like God damn it, I'm already forgetting his name. David Harbour is having such a fun time with the Russian accent. He's having such a fun time. I love his little, he's got this fucking beef with Captain America that Captain America doesn't know about. It's like that thing where you spend a lot of time, like literally, the first time you see him, he's in prison talking about beating the shit out of Captain America. People are like, man, you've never even met Captain America. What are you talking about? Like it's clearly, and I love how they even poke fun of that. And the self-awareness of the MCU, it feels so well. You know what it reminded me of? Some of the comments about the wider MCU was done so well. I've only ever seen the comments about the wider MCU referenced this well. I've only ever seen it referenced better in Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought Spider-Man Homecoming did the integration and the commenting and the mentioning of the wider MCU better than any of the MCU movies. Thor Ragnarok did a pretty good job too, but that one did such a good job. And this movie does another job. Like you really like, every time an Avenger is mentioned, it feels organic when he's just like, well, you joined the Avengers. Did Captain America talk about me? Because clearly, of course he would ask her about that. You know, when her and Yelena meets up and she's like, well, I thought I'd send it to you and your Avengers, because they don't know what the fuck's going on. They've been like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but stuff's been going on with them. So they're just like, well, fuck, I thought you and the Avengers would show up and blow some shit up, but apparently not. You know, and like I said, I like the dynamic between them and the real heart of the story. To me, ironically, this might be one of the only times I've said this. I've said it before, like in WandaVision and whatnot, but the heart of the story is this family dynamic. Like, there are a lot of inspirations. There's Mission Impossible, there's Born Identity, but crazy enough, especially that beginning sequence, the cold open, is a show on FX called, what was it called? I know it, why can't The Americans, which was about this family of these sleeper, well, they weren't even sleeper, I don't even think they were sleeper, but like this family, these Soviet Union spies who infiltrated America. They got a family and everything, but it's all bullshit. They're spies for the Soviet Union. And, well, you know, at this time it's still like, you know, the Soviet Union's still around, but they're spies, and they totally did that, and you totally got that vibe. It was a sad scene. There were some really heartfelt scenes, and they really did a great job of nailing what the trauma that being in the Black Room has had on these girls, on Black Widow herself, Natasha, and they really hit on the things. Now, I was a bit sad that we didn't get to actually see I was sad that we didn't actually get to see the Budapest thing. We do know what the hell it is. I'm not gonna say it here. We do know what happened in Budapest. I was sad we didn't get to see it. I also, it didn't reinvent the wheel. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It did everything it was trying to do good, but it wasn't original. It wasn't original enough for me to even think about putting it in the 9 category. But that, and while I didn't mind what they did with Taskmaster, I know some people are going to be real upset about that. I wish we would have got more of Taskmaster. What we got was fine and was cool, but I wish we would have got more of them. I wish the final fight that they were going for, it looked like it was going to be really cool, and then it felt like it just ended shortly. So, and I didn't have too much of a problem with the third act, you know, like, I mean, yes, there's an abundance of explosive CGI, but, you know, you saw it in the trailer. I will say the trailers hurt this movie. This movie, if anything hurt this movie, it's because the movie has been marketed, basically been marketed for almost 2 years. And every time, every single trailer, every single tidbit, they put out just a tiny bit more extra footage. The only bits that I don't think were in the trailer that were ironically the bits that hit me the hardest were the bits with the family, because they didn't really reveal all of that in the trailer. Like the opening, the cold open, like what happened to that like 10-minute opening? That was great, because I didn't see it coming. None of that was in the trailer. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know what was happening. So that was great. But, you know, but a lot of the action beats were in the trailer. It was in clips and whatnot. So there was a bit of a bite taken out of the action, but like, it's kind of, I'm taking off from the movie, and I'm not going to it's not going to get in the 9 category, or maybe even, like, it's still in the 8 to 8.5 category for me, because I still think everything else was done well. But admittedly, I thought that the fight with Taskmaster and what they did with Taskmaster could have been done better. I don't have like I'm not like, oh my God, it ruined it, but I thought it could have been done better. I do wish that this movie had came out when it was supposed to come out, because a lot of the action sequences have been like shown. So, you know, and it's not quite even the movie's fault, because the film got pushed back so far, and they gotta release something new, otherwise no one's gonna watch the trailer. So like that kind of did take a bit of the bite out of it. Obviously, you know, obviously, knowing where this is placed, and it didn't affect me all that much, but it's something that I can't deny that was in my mind, is knowing that this is a prequel and where it's placed. And it's not like a prequel where it's like so long ago that it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really affect it. You know, like Captain Marvel, where it's like, well, I mean, you know, like, because Captain Marvel was a prequel too, but technically anything could have happened to her. Anything could have happened to, you know, whatever. But we know where Black Widow ends up. So it did kind of affect it, but overall, the action was good. I love the cast. I thought the cast was great. David Harbour particularly was having a blast. I loved my girlfriend Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think she is a proper, you know, person to take that mantle, the Black Widow mantle, and push it forward. She's fun. She's interesting. She's got a bit more of a nastiness to her than Natasha does. I can't wait to see more of those characters. And overall, the post-credit scene was good too. The post-credit scene was good. It sets up a show. I'm not gonna tell you which show, but it sets it up perfectly. I would give Black Widow an 8 to an 8.5, leaning towards that 8.5, because I just had a good time. It was great getting back in the movies and seeing an MCU movie again. I hope this movie kills at the box office. I'm gonna get called a Marvel lover in the comment section, but I don't give a fuck. Dug the movie. Kiss Minds. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please comment below. What do you think is going to happen when do you think you're going to see Yelena again? Now, we all know the question to that, but what did you think of Black Widow? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Did you think it was meh? Because, like, and that's kind of where I'm seeing it. You either thought it was really good or you thought it was meh. Like, that's where I'm seeing. And if you thought it was meh, that's fine. Because, you know what? It won't for you. Like to each his own. Thank you guys again. See you in the next one. Sorry I'm sweating so much. Fucking heat.